Macmillan Audio presents Killing the SS. The Hunt for the Worst War Criminals in History by Bill O'Reilly and Martin Dugard. Read for you by Bill O'Reilly.
Prologue, May 7th, 1945, Rennes, France, 2:41 a.m. The devil is being hunted. In a classroom of a French technical school, Nazi Chief of Staff General Alfred Jodl applies his signature to a sheet of foolscap, an oversized piece of paper formally surrendering the German army after nearly 6 horrific years of fighting. Berlin has fallen. Nazi Führer Adolf Hitler is dead from a self-inflicted gunshot to the head. His body then doused in gallons of gasoline and set ablaze by his personal bodyguard. Troops from the Allied powers of the United States, Great Britain, and the Soviet Union now swarm unopposed throughout Germany, quieting the few remaining pockets of Nazi resistance. Despite the late hour, the walls of the schoolroom are lined with journalists and generals on hand to bear witness. Maps showing the progress of fighting in Europe cover the walls, their final updates having taken place just 1 day ago. Newsreel cameras record the somber moment of Germany's defeat, the intense heat of their lights making the room stifling. American Supreme Commander General Dwight Eisenhower, leader of the Allied forces in Europe, is present, but does not participate in the formal signing. Ike prefers to let his Chief of Staff, General Bedell Smith, act on his behalf. With the signature, Jodl announces in a noticeably emotional voice, the German people and the German armed forces are, for better or worse, delivered into the victor's hands. But the devil is not fully submitting, and neither are many of his disciples. They know their actions during the conflict will be considered war crimes. These men murdered and brutally tortured innocent human beings on a scale so large that the word atrocities does not even come close to describing the acts. Thick dossiers on these war criminals have been compiled by American and British intelligence agencies. The special admonition, immediate arrest, has been stamped next to their names on this most wanted list. If caught and convicted, the punishment will be death. Execution will be swift, if they are caught. Nearly 600 miles northwest of General Jodl's surrender, the most infamous Nazi murderer of World War II has no intention of delivering himself into the victor's hands. Instead, Reichsfuhrer Heinrich Himmler is running for his life. The mass killer now hides in a small farmhouse with a handful of his most trusted aides just outside the North German town of Satrup. Himmler and these men are members of the Nazi paramilitary organization known in German as Schutzstaffel. The rest of the world calls these butchers by another name, the SS. Schutzstaffel means protection squadron, and for the first 4 years after its founding in 1925, watching over Nazi leader Adolf Hitler was its main priority. But when Hitler appointed Himmler as Reichsfuhrer, supreme leader of the SS in 1929, the 28-year-old former chicken farmer was not content to be a mere bodyguard. The SS soon began gathering intelligence about Hitler's enemies and, in its recruiting, demanding that all applicants demonstrate German racial purity. By 1933, when Adolf Hitler's National Socialist Party assumed power in Germany, the military was divided between the Wehrmacht, the traditional army, navy, and air force of the German state, and the SS, a paramilitary organization loyal to Hitler and the Nazi Party. Hitler gave Heinrich Himmler and the SS sweeping powers to incarcerate all political opponents of the Third Reich, which came to include lawyers, homosexuals, gypsies, the mentally handicapped, Catholic priests, and the entire Jewish population. For the first time in modern history, anti-Semitism became governmental policy. Jews became foreigners in their own country, with a series of new laws rescinding their legal rights and forcing their removal from trade and industry. Virtually any man, woman, or child with the temerity to speak out against Adolf Hitler was in grave danger. Heinrich Himmler controlled...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?